Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the press, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN television. And now we've been joined by Dr. Mefor, and together we shall be taking a look at the headlines that I read out to you earlier. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the program. You. It's so good to have you.
Yeah.
I always look forward to the days that I get to sit here with you.
I feel flattered.
All right, now let's get into the business of the day. This one's going to be, according to the Vanguard this morning, it's telling us why the federal government is telling NLC and TUC. It says why you can't go on your planned strike. The federal government tells NLC and TUC. Says the strike is a violation of subsisting court order. I don't know if it was you that mentioned earlier that was a previous order, and the order does not extend to other previous.
I'm not aware that the order is not perpetual.
So the federal government is still holding that against the TUC and the NLC.
You know, the federal government is being clever by half. They want to hinge their response on legalities, you know, and all that. And I don't think that is what a responsive, let me not use the word responsible here. Let me just say responsive government ought to be doing. You see, there are issues on the ground, and federal government is not addressing them. If you understand the grounds being advanced by labor to justify the mooted industrial action, indefinite nationwide strike, which is going to cripple the economy, to affect everything, ranging from electricity, transportation, especially air travels, and so on and so forth, to every facet of the economy. Even a movement of vehicles. Yes, transportation. Why? Because I saw that Nupeng and Pengasin are also mobilizing to join the strike. They are the ones that move petroleum products from the depots to the various filling stations you find across the country.
Yeah.
So once there is truncation of that process, which you know, every aspect of the Nigerian economy will feel it. It's not good that would happen. But again, what then are the options available to labor? Because the federal government is not negotiating in good faith. I understand that even at the last meeting, the minister didn't even show up at all. That's what I heard, and I hope it is not true. You know, when you don't show up, you are indirectly calling the bluff of labor, and it means that you are saying they could go to hell, and you know, anything can happen. But I've just mentioned just three aspects of the nation's economy that if grounded even for a day will affect the already battered economy of Nigeria. Is this not avoidable? For me, it is. If you look at the grounds advanced by labor, they are talking about the removal of a fuel subsidy, that there are things federal government ought to do in order to ameliorate the suffering of Nigerians, especially the workers who are their members, right?
Yes.
That is one. They are talking about the need for a new minimum wage, because since everything has shot up by more than 300%, you cannot continue to rely on the old minimum wage and expect that the workers will show up at work as always. You know, most workers below from level 8 down, their monthly pay can no longer take care of their transportation. The facts are there. Unless they don't have to show up at work, you know, 5 days a week, they won't be able to sustain it based on what they earn at the moment. So the argument of labor that there is need to deal with the new minimum wage is very valid. Then remember that one of the conditions also given labor is talking about things that have to do with CNG compliant buses to ease transportation as an alternative process to PMS.
Yeah.
You know, That's one of the things on the table. Federal government promised some buses, but the last I checked, not a single bus has arrived in Nigeria from anywhere. And there is no evidence that government has even placed any order anywhere. So you can see that government is, not interested in what the labor is saying. So if government is not interested in what labor is saying, the only way to get government to be interested is to go on strike. So for me, if labor calls off the strike because of the purported so-called subsisting order, that's up to them. I personally don't have any faith in labor anymore.
Why is that? Because our guest of yesterday also made the same statement.
No, but that's the truth. Because the way they go about these things, it doesn't really guarantee a good outcome. For example, when federal government unilaterally moved the pump price from 197 to 540, labor ought to put its foot down and insist that they return to status quo ante. Do you understand that? So that there will be negotiation, there will be conditions, president laid what must be done before removal of fuel subsidy. What that means is that labor should accept removal of fuel subsidy in principle, but give conditions for the removal and insist on those conditions. Right from the days of Ayuba Wabad, this has been the ding dong. At the end of the day, nothing is met. Things have changed. Government has moved the fuel pump price to the unprecedented level of 540, moved it again to 617, and about to move it again to 700. And labor, even the conditions being laid by labor, don't make sense as such to the generality of Nigerians. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if certain things are not put in place and you insist on a new minimum wage, assuming you get maybe 100,000 naira as the minimum wage now, that will further trigger inflation because the market woman is waiting. Once this is announced, it will affect everything in the market. Now, where will that leave the Nigerian masses? Their condition will be worse off. How many Nigerians are workers? Maybe 4 million, 5 million in a country of 220 million people. You are making an argument for just 4 million, and you think that will help the entire economy? I said before, and I repeat, federal government must be compelled to suspend fuel subsidy completely. You suspend it. I didn't say cancel. Suspend it so that we put things in place. Do you get the point?
Yes.
If you suspend it, then we put things in place. We want to see the number of buses that you are bringing in. That time I think they talked about 8,000 buses. I don't know whether it is for Lagos alone, or is it for Kano, or is it for Abuja. We can't be talking about anything less than 200,000 CNG compliant buses, longer buses. We want to see the federal government take steps even through their own filling stations. You have mega filling stations of the NNPC, but visit them even in this Abuja and see if there is anything in place there for anything that has to do with CNG. There is none. So if 3 to 4 months after removal of a fuel subsidy, government has not taken any concrete steps to address these issues, there are no reasons for anybody to believe that they are interested in doing those. They believe that Nigerians will take it. And Nigerians are taking it. We are adjusting. Even if they move fuel to 740, Nigerians will, it's a matter of a few days, we will adjust. And it keeps moving. The naira to dollar has crossed 1,000. As at yesterday, it was 1,014 naira to the dollar. It has never, I never knew I could see this in my lifetime. And there is nothing in place. There is nothing in place to ensure that this will change. There is a trend in Nigeria. Whatever goes up in Nigeria hardly comes down. I can't remember what significantly came down after going up in Nigeria. What that means is that dollar, even if it comes down, may never go below 800 naira again. No matter what you do. It can only move up. Why? Because you're not exporting much. You are exporting only crude. Go check, you can Google it. Nigeria is still exporting, our export till this moment is 75% crude oil. And you're floating your naira. How do you benefit from floating your naira when you are not exporting anything? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because if you are exporting, we will say that, look, our export volume increasing, or at this point, if we devalue our naira, because that is what we have unwittingly brought upon ourselves, devaluation of the naira. You know, that is unplanned. It came on its own because naira has been on a free fall. That's the simple truth. You know, it's on a free fall. You know, it means that if you export more, if you export more, you will earn more in foreign currency, and that foreign currency translated to your own local currency means more money. But you're not exporting. So why the where is the logic? Do you understand what that? Where is the logic behind naira flotation? There's nothing to really show that it's a well thought out economic policy. And you paired it with removal of fuel subsidy. Now, removal of fuel subsidy, your argument is that fuel subsidy is moving you know, it means that the pump price will not be determined by market forces. Market forces here means, you know, market forces here mean what is happening at the international market to the price of crude. It means that as long as the price of crude is going up, your fuel pump price in Nigeria will be going up. Dangote Refinery has already told us that, look, I will say to you people at the exchange rate, because I'm going to buy the crude in dollars. So you don't expect me to run at a loss. So what that means is that even the coming of Dangote Refinery is not going to be any solution, because there is even an additional reason. I read something that made me weep days ago. Our oil, crude, that is yet to be excavated. The crude oil yet to be drilled has been sold in advance, used to collect, you know, tied to certain loans and all manner of things. So what that means is that we are exporting our export volume of crude now hovers around 1.3, 1.4. You know, crude is still short, about 400 to 500 thousand barrels short of our OPEC quota, because our OPEC quota is about 1.8. Do you understand that? It used to be 2.1, 2.3, but we're not meeting up. So OPEC doesn't see why we should be left with a redundant quota that we are not able to meet because of the theft in the industry. The National Security Advisor, Repadu, just told us that up to 400 to 500,000 barrels of crude per day is still lost to theft. Do you see the point?
Yeah.
So, but what you are now officially export is about 1.3, 1.4. And out of that 1.3, 1.4, maybe about 800,000 barrels are already mortgaged. I don't know if Nigerians know this. Already mortgaged. I don't know the figure, but you know what? From the analysis of the response of Dangote was simply telling you, Dangote Refineries simply telling you that they cannot even get crude locally. It means that Nigeria, the way we are now, we cannot even supply Dangote Refinery crude oil. So
it seems like we won't even be able to stop exporting crude anytime soon.
You can't stop
because we are mortgaging.
We mortgaged.
It has already been paid for.
Yes,
that's
it. You know, so the Buhari administration, you know, it's just that the president is reluctant to really probe the administration because it's the same party and all that. He saw, you know, he sees it as a peaceful, friendly transition, and probe. The word probe has always, you know, generated very negative energy, but the administration needs to be probed. You need to understand what happened. Okay, where is the money? Why Nigerians are being forced to pay 617 naira per price of fuel is because there is nothing in the treasury when the president came in. In fact, to use President Tinubu's words, he said we made an empty well, dry, empty well, nothing there. It's not just that the well is dry and empty, it's that the future water that will enter that well has already been channeled somewhere else. This is wickedness. And all these things, what will happen under the watch of Ahmad Lawan as the president of the Senate. They were quick to approve all the loans requested for by Buhari. Where is the money? Where are the projects? And they didn't stop there. They did not only mortgage future crude production. They went ahead to take additional loan, right? Using our external reserves as collateral. So when you hear that the external reserves of Nigeria is $35 billion, it's not true. Our external reserves as we speak now is only $5 billion. I think do you see where we are?
Yes.
And they didn't stop there. The Buhari administration and then FNA printed 22 trillion naira as ways and means, right? Without approval of the National Assembly. Where is the money? So when you check that the country is owing cumulative in excess of about 70 trillion, you have no projects to show for it. Where are the roads? Federal highways, for example. Do you understand that? Yes, a few things were done, like you can say you have Jebaf Bridge, Second Niger Bridge, about 3 key bridges, a few highways were done. But, do they really, do you get the point? Yeah. Do you really, can you say that these projects, come anywhere, even 30% of the amount we are talking about here now? Nobody is saying that nobody is running anybody down, but they need to account. I still insist that the President Tinubu, yes, he can forget about Buhari as a person, but his aides, look around you, everywhere. Look at what has happened to Nigeria Air. You went and hired, do you understand that? After spending billions, you don't even have a license. Nigeria Air has no license. You hired the Ethiopia Air, painted it, and not even painted, just simply branded it Nigeria Air, and brought it to Abuja, with the Ethiopian crew, and they did a kind of show. You took photographs, on the tarmac and everything, and the following morning, the plane turned around and went to Ethiopia and erased Nigeria Air and returned Ethiopia Air. That means you don't even have a single aircraft. This is, Nigeria has never come this low. How can you? Do you understand that? And nobody is asking
questions.
Had this record to explain what happened. You see where we are, because it is APC to APC. Must it be APC to PDP or APC to Labour before Nigerians can be told what happened to their economy?
But it's also safe to say that this present administration has also started following in that line of lack of accountability, because we are talking about fuel subsidy removal, and I know that a few months ago, or beginning of this month, the president there was some kind of 5 billion marked for palliative. And at the end of the day, we saw people getting 1 mudu of rice and spaghetti.
That's it.
And you're not wondering what happened to the 5 billion
my state, Anambra, I don't know whether they have gotten their money full now. But I know that there was a time Anambra state government said that what they saw was 2 billion.
Even with the 2 billion naira, you can't still tell me that
the problem is, why tell Nigerians 5 billion and disburse less? Do you see the problem?
Yes.
You talk about social register. Where is the social register? Do you understand that?
Who got the register?
Who developed the register? What were the criteria used to develop the register? There are many poor people I know in my village. In fact, I have not met somebody in my village that told me that he or she is on their register. Do you see the problem? So, what is Nigeria's social register? And it should be accessible. For example, it's electronic. There should be a website where one can go, click on his state, click on his local government, click on your ward,
on the register,
and check to see those from your own village that are on the register. That is public accountability. That is all what you get. So you have a social register that can not be accessed, that is known only to those who are in government, but it's not. The register is not for government. It's for Nigerian people. You call it social register. Every Nigerian on that register should have a social security number. That's what you find in other countries that are organized. All these things are made to appear like rocket science, because there is no accountability, there is no transparency, there is no integrity, ab initio. And that's what we keep saying. When you are recruiting people into leadership positions, the first thing you must check out is integrity. I've had this argument even in Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. It was an argument that went on there for a long time. I took the position that integrity comes before competence.
Okay. So
integrity comes before competence.
So how do we now keep holding people accountable for their actions? Because now you also said that you've lost your faith in Labour.
Yes, that's
so.
The
If
problem.
Labour is out of the equation, our guest from yesterday said INEC is the headquarters of corruption in Nigeria. So
correct.
we also lost hope in INEC.
Yes.
So if you lose hope in these two,
you need to organize the opposition. That is why I keep saying that the value of any democracy anywhere in the world can be calculated by looking at the robustness of the opposition. There is no opposition party in Nigeria. As far as I am concerned, PDP ought to be the opposition party. But who is the chairman of the PDP? I don't even know. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who is the chairman of PDP? If at my level, I can pull off the name of the opposition leader, pull it off the hat, right? Without trying to Google. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
I don't know. The last name I had was Yotayu. Somebody else came in an acting capacity. I don't know who the hell the man is. Showing that you don't have opposition. An opposition political party is the alternative government. In a parliamentary democracy, they even form what you call shadow cabinet. The way you have a minister of this, minister of that in government is the way you find in opposition. They are following you bumper to bumper, telling the people alternatives to these policies. So people are evaluating what government is bringing and what opposition is proposing. Do you understand that? So at any opportunity they have, they can now say, let us try this alternative policy. Do you see the problem? Nigerians have not been educated. They have not been mobilized. There is no opposition political party. There is no organized labor. Even student union. We don't even have NANS anymore. I was appalled to see, I saw one SUG president somewhere in Zamfara. See him with a police escort and all those things. It shows that they don't understand what
their role.
The role. I was a student union leader. So I know what I'm talking about. During my undergraduate, days and years, at University of Jos, student unionism in the late 80s, early 90s, we were the ones that anchored it. And we put the military on their toes. Despite the threats, many of us were arrested. Many of us were in fact, I was driven from school. I was rusticated. In the University of Jos, I was rusticated. In year 2, going to year 3, I wasn't the only one. We were about 13, rusticated, and we had to go to court. Gani Fawemi of blessed memory had to send a team of lawyers from Lagos to come and defend us. and you see student union president in SUV convoy, but purchased by who?
School fees were reduced by about 250%.
So you can say, you can compare what we did during our time. Risked everything. We were driven from school. We had to go to court. Ganifa had to come.
There was the fighting power.
You see this Festus Okoye. This Festus Okoye, his chamber in Jos was helping us. This Festus of Aide, his chamber with one titles man. They were all in that chamber together. They were the people that stood for us in court before Ganifa sent 1 or 2 lawyers to come and join their team. You see, what you had then is a direct contrast of what you are seeing today. What I'm trying to illustrate is that you don't even have students' union. You don't have labor. You don't have organized opposition political parties. That has left Nigerians on their own. Because there is no alternative platform to even aggregate, articulate, conscientize, mobilize Nigerians to understand that this is wrong. It's the job of opposition. You see, government anywhere in the world is tyrannical by nature. You don't expect Tinubu to allow you to just have a free way with his administration. You will have to mount very robust opposition before he will listen to you. But there is none. That's why I asked you, who is the chairman of PDP? We don't have opposition party. Who is the chairman of Labour Party? We don't know whether it is Apapa or whether it is Julius. Yes, I think Supreme Court may have resolved it only a few days ago. What that tells you is that opposition is in disarray, and that is why executive is having a field day, because there's nobody there to checkmate what they are doing. The way forward is very simple. Opposition was returned to drawing board. That is why I can't wait to see the Supreme Court judgment on the presidential election petition. You know, whether it is for good or for bad, let that be behind us, so that we can return to drawing board. We can begin to shop for opposition platforms. I believe that since PDP can't get up the ground and understand the meaning of opposition, then there is need for an alternative political platform. That's just, we have no opposition, and there is no way democracy can thrive without opposition.
So now, don't you also think that the fact that we have so many political parties here in Nigeria can also be a problem? Because if they could all come as a force and stand as an opposition, that would be a better idea than we're having over 18 political parties, and you don't even know where you belong.
You know, you are absolutely right. I am an apostle of a two-party system. I personally believe that two-party system is the way for Nigeria for 2 reasons. One, you have 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria, and other 200 and something smaller ethnic groups in Nigeria. If you have a two-party system arrangement, all these ethnic groups will be compelled to file into the 2 political parties. That will ensure, basic unity and understanding. For example, in the concluded presidential election, if we had 2-party system, opposition would have won. If we had 2-party system, opposition would have won. Because one is that Peter Obi and Atiku wouldn't be in that race together. It has to be one of them that will be in the race. And of course, even a Kwankwaso also wouldn't have been in that race. Do you understand that?
You all pick a side.
Yes, if you have 2-party system. However, to give a voice to what you call you have to allow what you call individual participation in the private candidates that are not coming independent candidates. That's the normal name for it. What that means is that if you feel popular enough, you come out as an individual. That is what you should allow. Two-party system and private, once you allow this, once this is the process, you will be in a position to have in place a political party system that can bring the people together.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? That can bring the people together. You have a position, you will have
a
the ruling party.
Candidate.
You have a position, you have a ruling party. The chances of a popular candidate winning is always weak, but they have won. I know of one in Canada that became
President.
Yes. Do you understand that? So I do think that we have to really return to the drawing board. Democracy is not a dash, it's a marathon, but we should be improving as we go on and not going back in a kind of atavistic throwback. It's not helping us at all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lloyd. It's been amazing talking to you. Like I said, I always look forward to Fridays because we get to have this kind of conversations. All right, with that, we draw the curtain today on the press, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. Till I come your way next time, I am Sandra Agu. Enjoy the rest of your day.